When engaging clients with limited English proficiency, a qualified interpreter is absolutely imperative to bridge the communication gap. Not only will a qualified interpreter allow for the highest quality of service to be delivered to your clients, but it will also protect you and your agency from any legal issues associated with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. With clarity, assessing a qualified interpreter is just an email, text, or phone call away. With 18 different languages and same-day service, Clarity provides convenient interpretation services that fit your schedule and timelines. In this video, you will receive 5 tips to improve your interactions with interpretation services. You'll first see a brief demonstration, followed by an explanation of the corresponding tip.
It's nice to meet you today.
Señora Sánchez, mucho gusto.
Está bien, mucho gusto.
That's fine. Nice to meet you.
I have a report of some concern about your children.
Tengo un reporte de unas preocupaciones de sus hijos.
¿El reporte vino de la policía?
Did this report come from the police?
Yes, ma'am. It's a police report that we got from the other night, and I'd like to just read you the concerns.
Sí, señora, es un reporte de policía que recibimos de la otra noche y le quería leer cuáles son las preocupaciones.
Bien.
Good.
Okay, it says that the other night your husband came home drunk.
El reporte dice que la otra noche su esposo llegó a casa borracho.
It says that he smashed your phone and then he pushed you to the ground.
Dice que él quebró a su teléfono y que le empujó al piso.
And then also during the struggle that your son received a black eye when some furniture hit him.
Y también mientras estaban en la disputa que su hijo se cayó en contra unos muebles y recibió un moretón en el ojo.
I'd just like to hear what you have to say about this.
Simplemente quiero escuchar qué es lo que usted quiere decir de este reporte.
An interpreter should remain as transparent as possible while fostering unobstructed communication between you and your client. To facilitate this transparency, please speak directly to your client. Avoid directing your questions towards the interpreter with statements that start with, "Tell him this," or "Ask her that." Instead, look directly at your client and ask them the question. Speaking directly to the client will allow you to develop a rapport despite the language barrier. It will also enable your conversation to fall into a more natural flow.
Bueno, es correcto que anoche vino mi esposo bien borracho, pero es un buen hombre. Y cuando está tomando, a veces lo veo como cambiado, diferente.
It is correct. He did come home drunk last night, but he is a good man. He is a good father. You know, when he drinks though, it's like something changes in him. He's different.
Okay.
Es un excelente papá a los niños.
He's an excellent father to the children.
Okay, well just tell me what happened when he came home drunk, then what led to that argument? What happened there?
Entonces cuéntame qué pasó cuando él llegó a casa borracho. ¿Cómo empezó el argumento? ¿Cómo pasó?
Pero nunca lastimaría ni a mí ni a mi hijo José, nunca.
He would never hurt me. He would never hurt my son Jose. Never.
Okay, well, Ms. Sanchez, right now I'm just trying to gather information.
Bueno, señora Sánchez, en el momento estoy tratando de ver toda la información del caso.
This is a serious situation. Your son has a black eye and there was violence in your home.
Es una situación muy seria. Su hijo tiene moretón en el ojo y hay violencia en su casa.
It's my job to assess for the safety of your children and then we'll make a plan.
Es mi trabajo evaluar qué es la seguridad de casa para sus hijos y de ahí desarrollar un plan para su familia.
An interpreter needs appropriate pauses in speech from both you and the client so that they can render an accurate interpretation. Giving too much information before allowing time for interpretation can make it difficult for the interpreter to retain every piece of the message. This may result in the interpreter having to clarify information which can disrupt the flow of the conversation. Conversely, given pauses too often in the middle of sentences, for example, can also make it difficult for the interpreter. Spanish and many other languages are structured differently than English. The interpreter cannot just repeat the words that were said verbatim in English. A complete thought is required to restructure the message into Spanish. Pausing for interpretation before an entire thought is given can lead to a disruption in conversational flow and make the interaction frustrating for both you and your client.
Es que Roberto es mi esposo. Él vino a la casa borracho.
So Roberto, he's my husband, he came to the home drunk.
Él empezó a acusarme de haber hablado con otros hombres.
So he came to accuse me of having spoken with other men.
Lo negué, por supuesto,
And of course I denied it.
pero no me creyó.
Well, he didn't believe me.
Entonces me agarró el teléfono, el mío,
So he grabbed my phone.
lo arrojó al otro lado de la habitación.
He threw it across the other side of the room.
Eso es cuando entró mi hijo José.
So that's when my son Jose came in.
Okay, and what happened when Jose came in?
Okay, ¿y qué pasó cuando entró Jose?
Es que él me agarró
So he grabbed me,
y José agarró la pierna de mi esposo Roberto
and Jose grabbed my husband Roberto's leg.
y luego yo no sabía nada porque yo estaba como en el suelo,
So I really didn't know much after that because I was on the floor.
pero de repente empezó a llorar mi hijo y estaba cubriendo el ojo,
So my son, right after that, started to cry. He was covering his eye,
pero yo no sé qué pasó.
but I don't know what happened.
So you didn't see it. You didn't see him get hit.
Entonces no vio cuando él tropezó con algo o le pegó.
No, señor.
No, sir.
Okay.
Bueno.
Interpretation, for the most part, is not a word-for-word endeavor. It's message for message. Some words in English do not have an equivalent in another language and must be conveyed using a grouping of words that articulate the message. Further, in some languages, certain words contain the verb, subject, and tense all in one. Because of these language differences, some interpretations may seem too lengthy or too short. This does not necessarily indicate that things are being left out or added to what you have said. All clarity interpreters are trained to deliver the exact message without adding, omitting, or substituting any content.
Ms. Sanchez, I'm having a hard time believing that you didn't see what happened.
Señora Sánchez, se me hace difícil creer que usted no vio lo que pasó.
I spoke with your son at the daycare, and he said that your husband hit him.
Hablé con su hijo en la guardería y él dijo de que su esposo le había pegado.
This is a serious situation,
Es una situación muy seria.
so I need you to try to think about what happened and tell me what really happened.
Entonces necesito que usted trate de pensar qué es lo que pasó para contarme.
Bueno, pues,
Well,
¿qué diría?
what should I say?
Le voy a decir exactamente qué pasó.
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
Sí se pegó con la mano,
Yes, he was hit with a hand,
pero la mía.
but it was mine.
Yo creo, yo pienso que yo sé qué pasó.
You know, I think I know what happened.
Cuando me estaba cayendo,
When I was falling,
yo extendí la mano
I extended my hand
para recuperar un poco la caída, para no caerme mal.
to break the fall, to not fall in a bad way.
Puede ser que yo pegué a mi hijo o puede ser que en este movimiento que se pegó en el sofá.
It could be that I hit my son, or it could be with that movement that he hit the sofa.
Okay, this is a serious situation,
Señora, esto es una situación muy seria.
and it seems to me like you're not being truthful with me.
Y me parece de que usted no está siendo honesta conmigo.
I'm gonna need you to be 100% honest with me, because at the moment, it seems like you're protecting your husband more than you're protecting your son.
Necesito que usted sea 100% honesta conmigo porque me parece que usted está protegiendo más a su esposo que a su hijo.
An interpreter will interpret everything that is said, no matter how seemingly inconsequential, confusing, or irrelevant it may seem. It's not the interpreter's role to clean up what was said or to say what they think the client is trying to say. An interpreter's job is to simply relay the exact message as it is given from one person to another. Stuttering, awkward pauses in speech, and incoherent statements will all be interpreted. By doing this, it allows you to determine for yourself if the client is lying, confused, or possibly even low functioning.
Well, Ms. Sanchez, while we continue to investigate what happened with this situation,
Bueno, señora Sánchez, mientras continuamos investigando qué pasó con esta situación,
I'm going to need for you to agree to some things I've written on this plan.
voy a necesitar de que usted esté de acuerdo con unas cosas escritas en este plan.
This is called a prevention plan,
Esto se llama un plan de prevención.
and I'm going to have our interpreter read what it says on this document for you.
Y voy a pedir de que la señora intérprete lea lo que está escrito en este plan.
And then once she reads this, I'll need you to sign, and then we'll continue the investigation.
Después, mientras ella lo lee, usted va a tener que firmar y vamos a continuar con la investigación. Número 1. José se va a quedar con su hermana María hasta concluir esta investigación. Número 2. Usted va a tomar una evaluación de ser padre en lo que es el Centro de Mujeres. Número 3. Usted va a tomar una evaluación de abuso doméstico para víctimas en lo que es el Centro de Mujeres. Número 4. Las interacciones entre su hijo y su esposo van a ser supervisados por su hermana mientras o hasta concluir esta investigación.
Ok, lo firmaré.
Okay, I'll sign it.
Okay, just sign there, and I will get you a translated copy of this at a later date.
Está bien.
Entonces firme aquí y yo le consigo una copia traducida en otra fecha.
Está bien.
That's fine.
Document translation is different from spoken interpretation. A professional translation should be translated, edited, and proofread. An on-site document translation is not ideal and should be avoided. Instead, an interpreter can sight read a document and even initial the document to indicate that they have interpreted the contents to the client. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. Hopefully these tips will be helpful in your future interactions with interpreters. Please contact us if you'd like a copy of this training video or if you are in need of professional interpreting services.